Pull. Pause.
Call.
Pause.
Oh.
If he hadn't come along when he did, I think this company would not be in existence today as it is.
When the industry was going through a downturn, he invested in R&D programs, searching for leading technology.
His greatest contribution has been to make Fuller more externally oriented. In other words, focus on customer, find what he wants, and give him and satisfy him.
There was a time when, being an international traveler, I would go out and was actually embarrassed with the reputation that the Fuller Company had with some of our international customers who never saw a Fuller man after the job was sold to them. Elmer has changed that attitude.
Elmer Gates changed a lot of things, a lot of lives when he came to Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, and Fuller Company.
We go out and do the work to make the fine-grade powder that is a cement. And that means we get involved with the quarrying of the limestone, the crushing of it, the calcining it through a heating process, the cooling of that, and then the grinding into the finished product. And we do that all around the world. We build equipment and plants all around the world to make that product. And that's about 2/3 of our revenue. And then we serve the mining business. We make large crushers and equipment for the mining business. We serve the pulp and paper industry, a very small part of their business, which is in the recausticizing area, the reclaiming of the lime that's used in the pulping process. And then we serve the air pollution control industry and the plastics blending and conveying. So those are our main businesses. We're a Smokestack America company. We have 3 plants of some age. All of them right here in Pennsylvania, and all of them pretty busy right now. The Fuller Company that I came to in 1982 had a tremendous internal focus, and we had lost touch with the customer.
Elmer Gates helped transform Fuller Company from a domestic supplier to an international leader, offering a diverse product base and a commitment to technological excellence and customer service.
My theory is very simple. You know, if you don't have customers, you don't need a president, and that's pretty simple.
Ironically, during this period of growth and expansion, Fuller's parent organization, GATX, decided to sell Fuller Company.
6 of us formed a group to compete for the purchase of that. And we were competing against some very tough competitors. And during that period of time, we really had 2 views. One was that during that whole period of time, our people at Fuller Company really kept focused on their mission, which was to get orders and execute those orders. They did that extremely well, and we're just so proud of that. And on the other hand, as we saw our competitors come in who were competing to buy the company, we knew that they were going to destroy the culture and the fiber of Fuller Company by dismantling it and perhaps shipping engineering someplace else and really dismantling the company. And so we felt so strongly about that we were even more convinced and dedicated to making sure that we were the successful bidders, and it turned out that we were. And I must say that since the purchase, any owners could not ask for more and have received more than we have from the very fine, dedicated people at Fuller Company.
And today, Fuller Company is growing faster and expanding into further global reaches than ever before, with Elmer its principal representative and spokesman.
60% of our revenue this year will come from outside the United States. And some of the countries that we've been active in are India and China and Korea and Pakistan and Egypt and Israel and Morocco and Mexico and Chile. Many of us spend a lot of time in the air traveling to these places, trying to make it easy for customers in those countries to do business with us.
Symbolizing Elmer Gates' determination and Fuller Company's commitment to quality is the Pyramid of Excellence.
There are 3 levels to the pyramid. The bottom is technological leadership, and then the middle level is cost-effective solutions. Technology is only good if it can be brought to bear on a customer's problem. And then the top of the pyramid, of course, is customer satisfaction.
What Elmer Gates has accomplished in a short time at Fuller is remarkable not only for what it has meant to the employees and customers of the company, but also because it represents only one of Elmer's many achievements since joining the Lehigh Valley community.
He is a doer and not a talker. That is, if he says something that's going to get done, he goes out and does it. His successes with the vocational industrial clubs of America, bringing quality into those organizations, the Lehigh Valley Partnership being a driving force behind the partnership, being a driving force behind Quality Valley USA. It shows that Elmer Gates produces not just for himself, for his own company, but for all of us.
With regard to the Lehigh Valley Partnership, Elmer Gates has been a pillar of that organization since its very beginning. As an example, a few years ago, as a part of the partnership's activities, Elmer took on the task of providing a regional focus on the Lehigh Valley. And out of that effort, he developed what we now have as the Lehigh Valley Pride Coalition, which is a good example of how this man brings his commitment to the community into real personal involvement. That coalition today builds on all other partnerships in the Lehigh Valley and is moving along superbly.
It's a very important job for us because the plant is in the Lehigh Valley. And
one might well imagine that only a privileged background can produce an Elmer Gates.
I was born in Blue Mountain Lake. That's a town of 200 people. It was 200 people 60 years ago when I was born, and it's 200 people today. And I went to a one-room schoolhouse for the first four grades. We had maybe what you would call a mini farm. We had enough animals, cows and pigs and chickens to basically feed the family. Had our garden, and it was tough. Our folks were poor, and it was tough making a living. And so we all learned very early in life that if you had anything, you were going to work for it, and we did. And that's a lesson that stood by us all these years, and it was a very good lesson.
Elmer distinguished himself in a graduating class of 12 students to win a New York State Regents scholarship to Clarkson College, where he earned a degree in mechanical engineering by the time he was 20 years of age. He had only just settled into a position with General Electric. And then there was Korea.
I was there a short time and learned probably as much as I've ever learned in a compact period of time during my experience in Korea, because everything was different there. Survival was very, very important, and everybody's values changed. Korea is a mountainous country, and when the rains would come, there would be great floods. And these ponton bridges, which were steel grates on rubber pontons, they'd get washed down the river. And so there were millions of dollars worth of these ponton bridges lying along the riverbanks. And I thought there was a better way, so we invented a quick release mechanism which allowed you to break the bridge in half and then hold each half of the bridge into the riverbank during the flood. And then when the flood subsided, to take the boats and reconnect it. And that way you were down less, you were up quicker, and you didn't lose the bridge. And on the basis of that modification, my colonel won the Commendation Award, and so I learned a good lesson there.
After the Korean conflict, Elmer returned to General Electric, where he was to rise steadily within the company over the course of a challenging 31 years. And it was shortly following his return from Korea that he began another and equally challenging and demanding endeavor, his marriage and family.
I had met Betty in 1950, and we didn't see much of each other because of the Korean War, and then we were married on July 4th, 1952, after I had rejoined General Electric. And
53.
53. Yes, yeah, okay.
Elmer's career demanded occasional uprootings and transfers, as his rising stature within GE dictated. And always of primary consideration in these moves were his wife and his 2 daughters, and now a new generation beginning with his grandson.
Goodness sakes. What a good thing you're here.
He was always there for us, no matter what it was. If there was a play that I was in or something, he would always make sure that he was there for us. And he was always there to help us with homework. In fact, when I was in college, he was always calling me up and saying, "Can I help you with, this, that, or the other thing?"
He was there a lot. We did a lot of things together, but he had a lot. He did a lot with work and a lot in the community too. He was on the school board a long time when we were growing up, and we did a lot together.
At home, he was very loving, very caring, very supportive, and it's great having him as a dad.
His distinguished 3 decades with GE brought the attention of a management recruiter, and he came to Lehigh Valley to perform his singular magic upon Fuller Company.
Elmer became the consummate salesman, Fuller's international ambassador.
His ability to go out and meet face to face with the customers has reestablished their faith in the Fuller Company.
But the Elmer Gates story involves still more, particularly in the vital areas of vocational training and educational opportunities for minorities and for the underprivileged.
He realized that vocational education in the vocational area technical schools and the community colleges were the key to revitalizing the economy of the Lehigh Valley, in that they could supply the skilled tradesmen that were necessary. Realizing this, he passed this message on to other CEOs, into boardrooms and into circles where previously vocational educators could not gain entree.
I think vocational education is important. It's important because business and industry need people trained in the skills with the right attitudes. And it's also important because there are a lot of young people, either by choice or circumstance, that don't go on to college full time. And so we need to meet their career needs by the time they exit the system at 12 years.
It is to Elmer Gates, to his inspiring corporate and community leadership, and to his widely encompassing and intense personal vision that this evening is dedicated.
Fuller Company and Elmer Gates show by example to all the rest of us what you can do when you really put your mind to it.
Elmer's the best.
Halt!